Hi everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here to talk about the comics I bought that came out on November 6th, 2013. Starting off, I'm going to start with the Marvel comics I read with Captain America number 13. Pretty much, Falcon is talking to Shield. They want Steve to take care of Nuke. However, Falcon's like, Steve's not up to it. He still has still going through depression. But they're like, we don't care. He's Captain America, and he needs to defuse this situation we've been in. Because we got a crazy guy with an American flag on his face causing a bunch of trouble. So, we need Captain America to go in there and defuse the situation. Which, of course, Sam is able to do, and the rest of the issue is just pretty much Captain the Falcon versus Nuke. Right now, we're obviously still dealing with the after effects of Steve Rogers being back on Earth after the 10-issue story arc of where he was trapped in Dimension Z. But this issue really didn't touch on that a lot. It was more focused on Captain America versus Nuke. And I think that really, unless you actually want to see unless you want like a full action-packed issue of Captain America fighting some guy, then I'd say buy it. But if not, then I would just say borrow this issue from a friend. Next up, Mighty Avengers number 3. Now, pretty much White Tiger, Power Man, and Blue Marvel have joined the fight as the team now has to go up against a giant one-eyed octopus demon that was summoned by a possessed Doctor Strange. Well, at first, Blue Marvel is able to use his powers to heal Spectrum, and apparently she gets an extra power boost from it, from the after effects. And Spider-Hero, and the hero that we know as Spider-Hero, who I don't know if people know this, but apparently Spider-Hero's identity was leaked online, and apparently he's Blade, the vampire hunter. So, yeah, so anyways, Spider-Hero figures out he's pretty much like the magic expert, which is proven in this issue, and he says that, we can defeat this demon by killing its physical form, then we have to kill its astral form by using Power Man's chi-based powers and give that strength to the White Tiger amulet and kill it. That's basically what happens. They pretty much use a giant tiger spirit to kill the one-eyed octopus thing. Alright, so Mighty Avengers. For me, I loved the first issue. It was great. This was a new Avengers team. It felt more... In a way, it felt more street... In a way, they kind of formed this team to kind of protect Earth since all the Avengers are gone. And this is taking place during Infinity. So I don't know if they're gonna stick with that theme after Infinity, because I think after this issue we're going back. We're gonna have to deal with some of the Inhumanity stuff, and then see where the book goes after that. Right now, I would say I'm enjoying. I'm not really pumped about it, but I don't exactly hate it. So I think right now I am gonna stick with Mighty Avengers, but eventually though but right now I would just say I'm indifferent, and for the first 3 issues I would say buy issue 1, but for the next 2 just borrow them from a friend. Okay, next up, the last Marvel comic I got was something that I really was excited for. Amazing X-Men number 1, The Return of Nightcrawler. That's right, Nightcrawler is back in comic books. He's not exactly back to life. He's still in the afterlife. Pretty much, Nightcrawler, the way they portray heaven in this issue is it's kind of like a giant floating island, and there's this forest inside that's apparently like paradise, but Kurt's been like sitting on the edge, feeling indifferent. He feels like he's not ready. There's something he feels like his life ended too early, and there's still something he has to do. Then suddenly, the entire island's attacked by demon pirates led by Nightcrawler's daddy, the demon Azazel, who's also got his... if you've been reading Wolverine and the X-Men, you know that in the Jean Grey school there were like these mini Nightcrawlers called Bamfs, who are just like these little versions of Nightcrawler. Well, Azazel has his own Bamfs, and they're red, and they're very psychotic. So Nightcrawler pretty much fights his dad for most of the issue, and then after Azazel leaves, Nightcrawler says to himself, like, this is the story how I fell from heaven, or rather, jumped. And after And then we cut to the Jean Grey School, which is pretty much, we finally learn what the BAMs have apparently been doing all this time. And they've been building this portal. And when Beast finds it and alerts the other X-Men, also Firestar joins the Jean Grey school staff in this issue, so FYI. After they check, they find the portal, Beast is scanning it, but then suddenly, after they try cutting the power to it, apparently the portal's still active, and when it does open up, a whole bunch of red BAMs come out, and they start attacking the X-Men, but then suddenly they try to reactivate the portal to send them back, but of course, this is comic books, so the X-Men go back. Huzzah! And pretty much the X-Men get sucked into this afterlife dimension. However, only Northstar and Wolverine are able to make it to the island to the floating island where we saw Kurt and Azazel were. And that's pretty much where the issue ends. Right when they do see Azazel's pirate ship, he pretty much says, "Stand down or die with the Blue Elf," and that gets Wolverine thinking, "Wait, Blue Elf?" And so that's where the issue ends. Amazing X-Men #1, I would say, is really great. I enjoyed it. It really, for the first half of this issue, it's focused on Nightcrawler, and it kind of shows you why he's such a great character. I mean, he's teleporting, he's swinging his swords, they stole off 2 pirates, just going at it. You know, he's the swashbuckling, teleporting member of the X-Men, and now he's back. So I think right now, as far as where this story arc is going to go, it's going to involve the X-Men in the afterlife, and they're going to be trying to find Nightcrawler. So I would say right now for issue 1, get this. If you're a Nightcrawler fan, I would say this is an absolute buy. If you're on the fence about it, borrow this issue from a friend. But overall, I'd say buy it. All right, now it's time for DC Comics with Green Lantern #25. This is pretty much the aftermath of Lights Out, where pretty much Hal Jordan, after realizing that now that all the light energy from the lanterns comes from the sort of reservoir, Hal Jordan kind of makes a big proclamation that, okay, from now on, any Green Lantern who finds an unauthorized ring wielder will have to take him down. So yeah, and Carol Ferris pretty much tells off. Hal Jordan said that he's putting the universe in a sort of police state, then flies off. And the next day, Hal gets started on his new initiative by teaming up with Kilowog to go find this Star Sapphire that broke out from the science cells at the beginning of Robert Venditti's run, who was named Priam Volange. I hope I'm saying this right. They track her down to her planet, they fight her, and right when it seems like they have her cornered, she uses her Star Sapphire ring to reach into the minds of all the men on her planet and gets them to be her reinforcements, and that's where the issue ends. Okay, yeah, Green Lantern, I didn't get Lights Out. Okay, I only got the first part because it was Green Lantern. I didn't want to hold in my collection, but yeah, I haven't exactly read Lights Out yet, so I can't exactly say how I feel about it. But right now, so I am partially confused about this. Not really saying this. I would say if you read Lights Out, get this, but if not, you should just borrow it from a friend. Green Arrow #25. This is a tie-in to the 0 years story arc going on in Batman right now, and if you know, what's now taking place is the blackout of Gotham City. And Oliver Queen, who has just returned to Seattle, seriously, this is 6 years ago, Oliver Queen just got back from the island. He hears about the blackout in Gotham, and he also knows that his mother is there, Moira Queen. So he decides, okay, I'm going to go save my mom. And he sneaks into Gotham, where he pretty much finds Moira and her bodyguard, named John Diggle, are under attack by this dude with a gas gun and a mask who's starting to call himself the Moth. Hint, hint. Yeah, so anyways, so pretty much first Batman shows up, then he's not called Green Arrow. I think right now he's just called the Hood. Anyways, Batman shows up, Oliver shows up, they both team up to take down the Moth, and after after that, Batman goes away, and because Ollie's like, hey, I got this. And then Moira kind of realizes, after Batman leaves, she realizes that the guy in the hood is her son, and he's changed, and she's just so relieved. And now she's like really relieved because not only did he save her life, but her son's apparently alive after surviving the shipwreck and stuff. So yay! And that's pretty much where the main story ends. Then we get to the co-feature, which does feature John Diggle, and it pretty much opens up with Oliver Queen falling into Diggle's window, saying like very badly injured, like I need help, and so Diggle cleans his wounds and stuff, helps him out, and then Oliver makes Diggle an offer, saying like I'm gonna go out, be a vigilante, protect Seattle, and he says like I need your help, I want you to help me, I don't want you to wear a costume or anything, I just need you as my backup, and Diggle agrees. So they form a partnership, they set up their lair. Diggle, pretty much the next page is kind of like a splash page of Diggle saying like for the next couple of months we were a tag team. I mostly stayed in the shadows, but I had Oliver's back. And the backup story ends with Oliver introducing Diggle to Roy Harper. Okay, if you are watching the Arrow TV series, you need to get Green Lantern. Because honestly, whoever put whatever circumstances led to Jeff Lemire writing Green Arrow was probably one of the best decisions DC Comics ever made. Okay, usually you have comic book TV shows that are based off of comic book series. Well, in this case, now it's kind of a reverse effect where a TV series based on a comic book character has this much effect on an ongoing series right now. I think it's great. I really like how now Diggle is in the comics. That's fantastic, and it's just, and I'm just really excited for it. I love Arrow. I've loved Arrow since season 1. Now they're bringing elements. I mean, when Jeff Lemire's run started, I eventually noticed he was bringing elements from Arrow into the comic book, and then finally, bam, we get Diggle. That's the icing on the cake right there. So yeah, this is seriously, Green Arrow is definitely a buy for both, and Arrow the TV series is definitely a watch. Watch the show and read the comic. Together, do both. Just seriously, buy the comic and watch the show. Do both. That's really what I have to say about it. Okay, next up, Superman Unchanged, number 4. Continuing the whole fight, Wraith and Superman are dealing with these drones led by this technology terrorist group known as Ascension. Wraith pretty much tells Superman that they can stop the drones. First, Wraith creates a sonic boom. Then he tells Superman to pretty much fire his heat vision, but like blink at super speed so the beams are chopped, which was a really good idea because Superman is blinking at super speed with his heat vision going out, and it's just firing like several beams going everywhere, and they're able to take out the entire drone fleet like that. And afterwards, though, Superman does ask Wraith, like, wait, how did you create a sonic boom? And Wraith explains, and Wraith and Superman are two similar super beings. Like, they both get their power from the sun, but apparently Wraith has been on Earth longer than Superman, but he's been hidden because he made a deal to work for the U.S. government. And so Wraith explains to Superman that that he was able to create the sonic boom using like tightening his throat muscles and stuff, and that's an ability that Superman could get later on. And so Wraith also says, like, I could show you if you're just beginning to understand what kind of powers you could have under the sun. And Superman's like, yeah, and you also said you might have to kill me one day. And Wraith just explains that you stand alone by yourself, you act as though you're above certain governments and above the world itself, and that eventually, though, you're going to cross the line. So someone's going to have to call me in to deal with this. So basically, Wraith is really just saying, like, you should really watch yourself sometime. Watch yourself. Also, the reason why I did this was so that no one would take me down and stuff. So in a way, Wraith is kind of like taking on this sort of, it's implied that Wraith might be doing this role of being like sort of a mentor to Superman in a way, like to help him understand his powers a bit more. However, though, I really don't see that working out because Superman really, yeah, he's not the guy who would really want a mentor. Also, as soon as Superman asks Wraith, like, there's one other thing he didn't tell me, like, where are you from? He gets cut off because his phone goes off, and apparently Perry White calls Clark Kent and tells him that, Lois is missing and she's apparently been kidnapped by Ascension. And we see that in the backup feature to this, Ascension does have Lois Lane held as their sort of prisoner, and they also kind of tell Lois that apparently General Lane, Sam Lane had some sort of role in their creation. Oh, and one more thing. Also, Jimmy Olsen was kidnapped by Lex Luthor last issue. Well, apparently Luthor has done some experiment on Jimmy, and he tells him that, and he goes, and Luthor, well, the dude monologues a lot. He says that, basically, Jimmy, you're, like, do you ever imagine how it will end for Superman? And he says, well, I'll tell you how it's going to end. He conducts some experiment on Jimmy and says that you're going to be the end of Superman. And that's where the issue ends. Alright, Superman Unchained. First of all, Jim Lee's doing the artwork, really great. Obviously, this book is a lot more action-oriented because most of this issue was Wraith and Superman taking down the drones, which is very nice artwork by Jim Lee. Also, I do like, Scott Snyder, he is a good writer. It's also a very nice, well-written book. I am curious about how Luthor plans to use Jimmy Olsen to kill Superman. Also, it doesn't mean will it mean the death of Jimmy Olsen? Yeah, honestly, I could go either way. I really don't care about Jimmy Olsen. Anyways, also we get some foreshadowing from Ascension by explaining that somehow General Lane had a role in their creation, which we don't know what it is. Also, the way Ascension looks at the end of the book, they have these masks that somehow replicate a person's face, and right at this point, the way they refer to their connection to General Lane, they told Lois that General Lane, they didn't say like General Lane had a role in their founding, they had a role in his creation like yours. So I'm kind of wondering, I'm kind of skeptical, like not only who is Ascension, but what is Ascension? So yeah, also again, who is Wraith? We still have no really clear answers about where he's from. So a lot of mysteries. So Superman Unchained has a lot of action and also has a lot of mystery. I would say this is pretty much the only Superman book I'm reading right now, and it is awesome. I highly this is definitely a buy. All right, final comic, Forever Evil #3. Pretty much this does take place after Justice League #24, where we have Ultraman fighting Black Adam, where Ultraman is able to beat Black Adam and throw him into the water, but unfortunately Ultraman has to leave before he can make sure Black Adam's dead because he was almost in direct sunlight from the eclipse. Yeah, that sentence didn't make any sense. I'm just realizing that now. Yeah, so pretty much after Ultraman, but more on that later. Lex Luthor then decides to hack a satellite, broken satellite dish to help track the crime syndicate's movements, and he's able to do so. That's how he knew about Black Adam. And also in Central City, the Rogues are having a little trouble with the syndicate as well, because the Rogues, they're not really hardcore. I wouldn't say the Rogues are like hardcore villains. They're just more of guys who are just after that big score. And in this case, they apparently have been trying to evacuate the Central City and trying to make sure that people are safe, but the crime syndicate's like, no, you can't do that, man. And so Deathstroke and Power Ring attack them, and did I say Deathstroke? I meant Deathstorm. I'm sorry. Deathstroke. Okay, one's Evil Firestorm. I should know about that. Anyways, Deathstorm, and this is a very interesting thing that Deathstorm did. He removed Captain Cold's powers. Like, he was able to look exactly at Captain Cold's DNA and rip out the gene that gave him his ice powers. Because as you know, since the New 52, the Rogues apparently now have real superpowers, and after an experiment to somehow fuse their gadgets to them. So now Captain Cold does not have his powers anymore. He and the other Rogues try to escape through the mirror dimensions, but Power Ring shoots and breaks the rings, which causes all of the Rogues to be trapped in the mirror dimension except for Captain Cold, who's able to get out. Who's very, very lucky and able to get out there. Also, back in Argus, Batman has which was where Forever Evil number 2 ended, Batman has just brought Victor Stone to see his father and see if he can help Victor in any way after Victor's cyborg parts left him. And Batman learns about what happened to Dick Grayson. So then Batman's first thought is, so pretty much Batman just switches gears. He's like, okay, I need to help Victor. Quick, Dr. Stone, you have to save your son. And, hey, wait, is that Nightwing? Okay, gonna go save Nightwing later. Yeah, that's kind of what happened to Batman. So, of course, though, it is Nightwing. So obviously he had to drop everything. It's understandable. And alright, and the issue pretty much ends with Captain Cold finding Luthor and Bizarro. Then Black Manta emerges from the bay where they're standing, and he's carrying Black Adam with him. So at that point, Luthor, Black Manta, and Captain Cold agree to form an alliance, and that's pretty much where the issue ends, with the Injustice League starting to get together. Okay, Forever Evil is awesome. Okay, I was gonna skip this event. I said, okay, maybe. I thought, okay, I'm probably gonna skip this. Well, I got issue 1. I was hooked. Seriously, I don't know why I thought about skipping it. This event is awesome. All right, you've got pretty much you have the villains of the DC universe. Some of the big guns like Black Manta, Luthor, Captain Cold are now starting to be seen as the protagonists of this story, which is very interesting, and it's really amazing. And I love the way Jeff Johns can write Luthor's dialogue, like his inner monologues, the way he talks to people. It's really amazing, and I hope we do get to see a little more of Batman, because the Crime Syndicate took Dick Grayson. They pretty much kidnapped him, revealed his identity to everyone, so I'm really hoping Batman gets, and they do get teased at the end of this issue saying that next issue, Luthor versus Batman, so I'm really hoping Batman gets more involved in the next issue. But yeah, overall, Forever Evil is pretty much the best event I'm enjoying right now. In my opinion, it's better than Infinity, it's better than Battle of the Atom, it's fantastic. Seriously, I would highly recommend getting, seriously, if you want a good big event, get Forever Evil. I mean, it's definitely a buy. Okay, that's it for my weekly comic book review. I'm going back to the weekly format. If you guys like this format, please let me know. I would say comment, but let's face it, the new YouTube comment section really does suck now. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, Spider-Man 1991, saying see you next week.